Every great creative work stands on the shoulders of giants. Welcome to RetroInspection, where we examine and find out where the things we love today came from.
I think, so I think mainly because they set up in this book this entire thing. Basically, they have this galactic patrol, and it's enabled by the Eurasians who give Virgil Sams the lenses. And their whole story is, well, we got to fight these bad guys who are basically a bunch of drug dealers. And they're pushing this thing called cyanide. And it's worse than heroin, worse than whatever, and all this stuff. But you end up with a book basically about a bunch of, I guess you could say it's the Untouchables in space.
That's not bad.
Right, but it's why?
Well, there's multiple levels of the overall enemy. So you've got space pirates that attack merchant ships, but the space pirates also go and farm the vegetation from this planet with an incredibly hostile climate, which is what they make the theanite from. But those pirates are working for corrupt politicians on Earth, and Earth, incidentally, in this story does not have a unified government. Continents tend to be unified under a single government. We largely focus on the corruption within the North American government, which does include Mexico when we get to the part about the elections later in the book. But then over those guys, so the Vascones, those are like aliens that are in charge of the whole criminal enterprise, this whole interstellar drug syndicate and political machine.
And the Adorians, the Adorians use them. Right, okay.
This is so needlessly complicated, and things are kind of doled out by the thimble. You don't, like I said, there's a tremendous amount of wording, but not a lot of information. There's very little clear exposition. If you would just chop, there's a lot of chaff that could have been gotten away with, and then you would be left with the wheat of what would be essentially a perfectly good pulp science fiction novel. There's so much extraneous BS that kind of would have to be gotten rid of. Your core story here isn't bad. You could condense the bad guys' organization some, or at least explain it better. I'm trying to think. There was something about I was talking about the elections a minute ago, and there was something in my head that I was gonna relate back to that. I don't know.
Well, you'll take it.
Yeah.
So if I were just, I don't want to completely dump all over this book, and I want to give the potential readers something to look forward to. And there is one segment of the book, I don't know if it's a chapter or just a segment, can't remember, that was actually worthy of science fiction, aside from inertialess drives and all of that. It was, I think Virgil Sams and one of the minor characters are searching for some signal from the pirates or something, and they end up on this rocky planet, and they come across this alien life form that is completely different than any alien life form they have ever seen, that we've ever known, et cetera, and it's quite ingenious. It's very ingenious how this thing works. It was the highlight of the book for me in terms of imagination. It really was inspired, because I don't think up to that point, and not being hugely read in the pulps and whatever, this idea of alien life being this way might be one of the first times.
Are these the people that
and-
only partially exist in our universe? That they kind
No,
of trans-dimensional?
those are the Pulians or Pluians, and they live on
Yeah.
Pluto plus some of. No, this was the segmented creature that could only travel in a certain way and fed on light and reproduced in a geometric pattern. That was the most ingenious part of the book for me.
Like, subscribe, repost, share everywhere. To see what else we're up to, visit xynobooks.com, xenobooks.com.